Hello, everyone. I'm going to start to go over the project one, loops and layers, which is our first full project. And I'll start by saying that there's going to be a lot more instructions. This is just the beginning of what we're starting. So this is kind of step one of like 4 or 5 steps. So the first thing you want to do, I'm actually going to edit this a little bit. It's going to say start session uh, or start a new project in BandLab. I'll get rid of this grid mode thing. I'll go over that a little bit, but we don't need that because that's the default setting anyway. So when you open BandLab, you'll click Create, and you will find the new project. In this case, we're going to browse through the loops. You can click on this, and you'll see that a tab on the left side appears. Sorry, a tab on the right side. A tab on the right side appears, and you have this is like the popular kind of either new stuff, new loops, or some favorites, or just popular loops that appear. You also have packs, so you can cycle them by genres, or you have some kind of characters and moods if you have something specific that you're looking for. You can also click on the loops tab just by itself, and then you can search by instrument, which is labeled through each of the loops is labeled and categorized by the instrument. Or you can also go into genres, so you'll see that if there's a genre of music you're trying to emulate, if you want to mix different genres, if you want to put like heavy metal with orchestral and Latin, and just want to see if some of those loops work, that'll be something really interesting. The one thing I don't want you to do is just go into electronic and then find all electronic loops. I want you to kind of mix and match and find things that you like from different genres and different styles. So you can click reset to go back. If you find something, for example, disco, right? There's 100 disco loops. You can just click reset to clear that search. At the bottom here, you can turn, if you lose it, you can just click on the loops again to open that tab, and again, packs, and then just the popular stuff. There is also a search feature, so if you go into loops and you want to find trumpet, there may or may not be, there is some, this is not really, so downtown trumpet. Let's see if that works. Okay, so you have the play button over here, and then you can pause it. So a loop is just a piece of sound, right? A sound file, an audio file that will just repeat and repeat and repeat until you stop it. We have the cycle button over here, and you can see that when I click on the cycle button, it turns this bar orange, and you can click on it, you can turn it on and off. If it's off and you just play it, the sound file itself is a certain duration. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can see it a little better. So the sound file is a certain duration, and then it ends. And what you can do is when you click on the cycle button, it will continue playing that piece over and over and over. So again, I'll zoom out a little bit, and I'll move the cursor over just so we can see the ending of this. So in this case, this is turned on, and then you can click play. Okay, start from the beginning. So it just repeats, and that's the whole idea of the loop. Is that the loop? It's a continuous loop. It always keeps going, and again, the cycle button is what keeps that section going. So if you have something selected, that's either more or less, it's just going to cycle that piece. So you want to make sure that your cycle, your cycle button and this orange area matches your loop itself. Here, I'll explain the measures a little bit. So you can see if I zoom out, you have 1, 3, 5, 7. It's because I'm zoomed out so much that you can't see 2. And if you zoom in a little bit more, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this stops at 5. The way that measures work, right? It starts on 1, but that's not the completion of 1. 1 ends right on 2. And 2 ends on 3. So you have the completion. If I zoom in again, you'll see it starts to divide the measure, right? This entire, actually I'll use this, right? This is one full measure. This is beat 1, then beat 2, then beat 3, then beat 4, and it ends on beat 2. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and off, right? That is one complete measure. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 2, 3, 4, and off. That would be 2 complete measures. So that would be, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 2, 3, 4, and off. So this section is 2 complete measures, which ends on 3. And this will be important because we will have a specific length. So in this case, we're going to select 4 full measures, which goes up to 5, but does not include 5. It goes up to 5. So in this case, I have kind of a melodic loop. And what I'm going to start is I'm going to see if I can find, I'll go to instruments and I'll see if I can find a bass loop that works with this trumpet. A lot of these will not work well together. You can see that there's 1,600 bass loops, and you want to find something that was going to work with this trumpet, right? So you can click play. You can change the volume down here. You can just click this volume button. Yeah, I really don't like that one. So there's a lot to cycle through, and the hardest part of this is really just selecting the loops that work well together. So let's see if we can find something. Ooh, bubblegum bass. Yeah. Don't like it. Yeah, this one's cool. So again, I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to insert this loop. And when you insert the loop, it works as, does that work? Right. Make sure that you drop the loop. And same thing as we did before, you want to make sure that it goes all the way to the left, that it starts exactly at the beginning. It's not a little bit off. You want to start exactly at the beginning. And then I'm going to make a few adjustments, right? So you can see that the bass loop goes up to measure 3. So this is 2 complete measures, whereas the trumpet loop is 4 measures. So this is twice as long, right? We have this section that we kind of have to figure out what we want to do with. In terms of the loop itself, if you click on the audio, you'll see a little button on the top right and on the bottom right. And same thing here. When you click on and select the audio clip, you will see that there is a top right, which is a circle with an arrow, which is defining that you're going to continue the loop, or there's just an extension right on the bottom right. So if you click and drag on the top right, you're going to extend the loop. And you can kind of see that when you select it, you can have the darker blue section, which is the original, and then a lighter blue, kind of a little more faded, and you'll see basically that that is a copy of the previous. And if you continue, you'll see that there is a little white vertical line that tells you where that loop really ends, so that you can really line them up, make sure that they're all lined up. So again, now that you made this 2-measure loop, the base loop, 4 measures, now that these are exactly the same. So if you continue playing this, so that works pretty good. The other option that you can do is, because this is only two measures, you can choose to not repeat that. And if you click on the bottom right, you can just kind of extend silence in this case, right? So you would have the kind of the trumpet on its own, or a trumpet and the bass together, and then the trumpet on its own for measures 3 and 4. So in this case, since we only have one instrument, it doesn't really work. But if you want, once you start adding loops, you may want to say, well, I want a bass for 2 measures, but then I want something else. I want something different. Because we're just starting this, I am going to, I'll show you what the idea here is. So when you extend this and you add the silence, you can continue with the loop. And now the loop, instead of being 2 measures, is now 4 measures with 2 measures of trumpet, 2 measures of bass, and then 2 measures of silence. And then you can kind of create your own loop, which now includes that silence. For this project and for this demo, I am not going to do that. I am going to just make this exactly 4 measures, and then we'll start to look for a drum loop. So let's see if we can find, there are some beats which are kind of full beats. I actually don't want you to use a lot of this. So you can see there's multiple instruments, multiple sounds. What I really want you to do is go into, for example, like a drum loop, and you have a hi-hat loop. Like, it's very simple, but you can take the drum loop and then, or the hi-hat loop, and then you can put in, again, there's a lot of sounds here. Also a lot of sounds. So let's see if we can just find a snare. Snare drum is the one particular drum which is a very crunchy sounding drum. Okay, so let's see if that works, right? So we have this grunge glitch snare. And again, we'll start at the beginning, but you can hopefully see, close this and zoom in. You can kind of see that this doesn't start at the beginning, and you want to make sure this hi-hat loop also starts at the beginning. Now I'll select this and I'll loop it, till the end, and we can kind of see how things work and how they work out. So if I zoom out a little bit, let's start at the beginning and see what we have. So I really can't hear this hi-hat. I'm going to lower the volume on the bass. I'm going to lower the volume on the trumpet. And then I'll see, adjust the volume. Okay, so that's better. I can kind of hear. You can see that the bass, because there's kind of very thick lines, right? These are the sound waves themselves. They're very large. The trumpet you can kind of see, and even the snare you can kind of see where the hits are. But because the hi-hat is very quiet, you can see that it's very kind of narrow sounds. So that's just kind of telling you that this is a very quiet instrument, and you may want to turn the volume up. You may want to turn the volume down on the bass. The trumpet is also pretty loud. It's also a higher register, whereas the bass is very low register. So the trumpet just kind of comes out. It's cleaner, it's clearer because it is a higher pitch instrument. So yeah, so that works, and that's something cool. And you kind of made your own percussion loop out of just one snare and one hi-hat, as opposed to taking one loop that has the entire drum set that has 6 or 7 sounds sometimes. So I would definitely prefer that you make your own. As you're getting started, you may want to pick one, but then later, as we develop this, I would like you to kind of make your own percussion and drum beats. So this ends this demo of just how to import loops. And the one thing I want to mention is because this is going to be a longer project, you will want to save it. So I'm going to just save it as a loops project, demo 1, because I'll probably make a few. And then you want to click save. And now that this is saved, it'll say that it was saved, and you can exit. And then it will give you basically the last project that you worked on. You'll see the loops project demo. It's processing at the moment, but you'll see that it appears, or it will appear when it's done. But in this case, if you if you sign out, I don't want to sign out until this process is complete. But you can sign out, and then when you sign back in, you'll see it in the mix editor. And then you'll have other, projects and things. Again, you can just click open in mix editor, and it will load everything as you had it. So just remember to save, remember to do this. Otherwise, you may lose your work, and we don't want to do that. So you'll see it here, and that's it. I'll give you another video on what the full project should look like.